Highline Nation. Highline Nation. Highline Nation. Touchdown run by the magical quarterback Lamar Jackson. Highline Nation. Highline Nation.
He steps up. He's all by himself.
Highline Nation. Highline Nation.
Touchdown!
They coming with the stats. Join the conversation. We lit. Highline Nation. Coming with the stats. Join the conversation. We lit. Highline Nation. Highline, highline, yeah. Highline Nation. Highline, highline, yeah. Highline Nation. Highline Nation. Highline Nation.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah. Turn up the sound, let's make it loud. I hate to pile, making you proud. Feel the beat, let your feet move free. Sports and groove, it's all you'll ever need. From the pitch to the court, we got your back. In the game or the field, we're on attack. Feel the pulse, every second counts. We rise above while the crowd shouts. Hate to pull on, dance in the zone, 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 zone. Feel the rhythm right through your bones, 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 bones. Hate to pull on, rocking the show, 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 show. Never stop, let the good vibes flow. Hear the whistle blow, it's time to score. Join the frenzy, let's roar for more. Hit the play, feel the energy rise. In the moment, we're reaching new highs. Studio lights, they shine so bright. On this podcast, we're walking the night. Tune in live, feel the magic here. And every beat will conquer the fear. Hate to pull on, dance in the zone, 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 zone. Feel the rhythm right through your bones, 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 bones. Hate to pull on, rocking the show, 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 show. Never stop, let the good vibes flow. Hate to pull on, dance in the zone, zone, zone. Feel the whistle blow, it's time to score. Join the frenzy, let's roar for more. Hit the play, feel the energy rise. In the moment, we're reaching new highs. Studio lights, they shine so bright. On this podcast, we're rocking the night. Tune in live, feel the magic here. And every beat will conquer the fear. Hate to pull on, dance in the zone, 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 zone. Feel the rhythm right through your bones, 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 bones. Hate to pull on, rocking the show, 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 show. Never stop, let the good vibes flow. Hate to pull on, dance in the zone, zone, zone. Feel the rhythm right through your bones, bones, bones. Hate to pull on, yeah. Hate to pull on, let the good vibes flow. Let the good vibes flow.
Breaking the silence like a thief in the night. Electric waves and heavy drums ignite. Trapped in tight when they can't fight. Open your mind, let the words collide. Surfing the airwaves, no place to hide. We got the stories, the truth worldwide. Buckle up, now it's a wild ride. Open your mind, let the words collide. Surfing the airwaves, no place to hide. We got the stories, the truth worldwide. Buckle up, now it's a wild ride. Chunky boys, we're here to rock. Turn the volume up, we got the top. From dawn till dusk, we never stop. Tune in now, it's the top of the top. Laughs and tales fill up every soul. You find out things you didn't know. With a charm in every flow. Chunky boys, let's steal the show. broadcast time. Chunky boys on the front line. Chunky boys, we're here to rock. Turn the volume up, we got the talk. From dawn till dusk, we never stop. Tune in now, it's the top of the top. Laughs and tears fill up every show. You'll find out things you didn't know. Wit and charm in every flow. Chunky boys, let's steal the show.
It's time to play the game. Time to play the game.
Laughs and tales fill up every show. You'll find out things you didn't know. Wit and charm in every flow. Chunky boys, let's steal the show.
What is up, everybody? Welcome, Hornets fans, to another electrifying episode buzzing around the pylon. I'm your host, CJ, and I'm alongside my host, the yin to my yang, the nacho to my cheese, Mr. Jonathan. Please give him a round of applause.
Thank you. Thank you.
We got you covered, like JC Horn on your favorite team's wide receiver. All of the latest Hornets news we got going on today. But before we get down into our rundown, Jonathan, how are you doing, man?
Exceptionally well, CJ. How are you doing?
Man, I'm excited. I'm super excited to talk Hornets basketball because, you know, like the Hornets basketball is in an interesting state currently. And it's a lot to discuss. It's a little nuanced. There's some people who may be a little, you know, agitated by the state of Hornets basketball at the moment. But hey, look, we'll talk about it. We'll break it down. So here's the rundown for tonight's episode. We're talking injuries. We're talking returns. Who's going to step up? Who will be sent packing at the deadline? Question mark? Question mark? All right, let's get into like kind of the unfortunate news. So it's been about 2 weeks since we last did a show. Obviously, hope you guys had a really good Thanksgiving, a good holiday, some time off. It was much needed. We hope you had a great couple days. But unfortunately, since we last spoke, there has been some injuries on this Hornets team, which kind of seemed like the norm, unfortunately, around Charlotte. It just kind of see a revolving door in and out of the medical staff room. If you guys have any comments, you guys want to be involved in the conversation, make sure you are commenting down below. We'll put your comment up on the screen. We'll talk about it. Let's have a discussion. Let's have an open dialogue. Tell us what you guys think about Hornets basketball currently at this state. And make sure you're following here at Hate to Pile On as well before we get too far into everything.
Yes, sir.
Grant Williams suffered a torn ACL this past week. Unfortunate news because he's kind of like
He's a glue guy.
He is a glue guy.
He's exactly a glue guy for the Hornets. Everywhere else, he was not for the Mavericks.
Not at all. He was kind of solid for the Celtics as well. But I think Marcus Smart was that better fit of that glue guy. You know, he kind of was supposed to be what Marcus Smart was at the time, but I don't think, you know, I think he became more dispensable, which unfortunately it kind of seems to be a thing for Grant Williams. He kind of becomes dispensable in a sense, and it's like, I hate to say it, but he kind of becomes that way sometimes. A lot of stops where he's at, but unfortunately, we hate to see players get injured, especially a season-long injury. ACLs are tricky. I mean, people do come back from it, but ACLs in basketball and just the kind of the hard contact of the court and like unforgivingness nature. Like obviously, Achilles is not, you know, what it used to be. Like we're seeing Kevin Durant come back from it, and he's been pretty effective. But he just went down with the ankle injury last night, destroyed the parlay. We're not going to talk about it, but ACL, I think he has a chance to come back from it, but he's not the most explosive player, so we're not going to be missing his explosiveness as much. But it is a big blow for Grant Williams. What do you think?
For sure. I think obviously any injury sucks, but as you said, especially season-long injuries and ones that could potentially carry into next season. Because like you said, medicine is improving. ACLs aren't what they used to be, but ACLs are also different for everybody. I don't know if he had anything besides an ACL. I know usually especially in football, you see like MCL and PCL or MCL, and those are the ones that usually take longer, like the multi-ligament tears.
Yeah.
I believe Grant's is a straight ACL, which hopefully should mean he'll be back to full health sooner, but you never know. Everybody's body is different. Every rehab is different. So, yeah, hate to see it for him because that means he's out this year and potentially into next year as well. I think the Hornets are going to miss him. Like we said, he's been a glue guy. He kind of does a little bit of everything. I understand he's not necessarily a fan favorite, but he does things that other players on this team don't do. So I think the Hornets are definitely going to miss him.
Update as a meniscus and an ACL, so that's definitely going to be a bit longer for his recovery.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Yeah. Continue on with more unfortunate news. Unfortunate, losing our two guards for at least 2 weeks, maybe another week. LaMelo Ball goes down with the left calf strain, and Trey Mann has been dealing with a back injury, which has been stated as like a discus injury, like a kind of not exactly, didn't specify exactly, which is not great. He is a guy who has a smaller frame, so he is going to be taking a little bit more contact, especially once he does drive to the paint. And also, Miles Bridges is dealing with a knee injury that's day to day, so he's not necessarily long term, but he's also, kind of iffy. It just kind of depends on how he's feeling that day. If it rains, he might have his knee act up a little bit, which is unfortunate because like once you have these knee injuries, especially as a bigger person, I mean he's 6'7", so it's like. And he has a little bit of weight to him too, so it's like it's not like saying he's big or nothing, but he just has a little bit. He's a thicker, not thick, but like he's not small, But it sucks, and he's only 24, so having a knee injury this early on into your career is, especially when it's supposed to be your prime, So it's unfortunate for Miles Bridges, but what do you think about our starting guard plus Miles Bridges injury for the team?
Obviously, I hate to see LaMelo hurt. Hate to see Trey Mann hurt. Hate to see any player hurt. Don't want to ruffle any feathers. But those are our sixth man, who's been our second leading scorer, I believe. And LaMelo,
he's about fourth. He's like fourth.
Is he fourth? It's
He's
LaMelo,
like,
Brandon Miller, and then
and then Bridges is at 16, and then right after him is Trey Mann. He's around like 15 or 14 points a game, which I don't have him on here.
You're good though. Anyway, some of our best players, especially two at the point guard position.
It
sucks.
Worst timing. When we were just trying to figure out who's going to be in the front court, then all of a sudden the back court gets hurt. And it just seems to be a mixed match of injuries. When can the pieces finally align? When can the pieces finally align for the Charlotte Hornets? Or will it ever? Will it ever fully align?
The Hornets injury report starting to look like a Lemony Snicket series, a series of unfortunate events. LaMelo's out with the leg. That one's a strain, so I think he's being reevaluated in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So that one, hopefully not that big a deal. Like you said, the Trey Mann one, a disc injury in your back, that's not like a strain. So that's not like a rest for 2 weeks. You'll probably be fine. That is a disc injury in your spine. which means potentially surgery, which could be much longer.
Yeah.
Recovery time frame we're looking at for there, which sucks for him because he's been having an amazing season so far, and he's looking to get paid. So
And it's the worst time. Like it's the worst time for him to get hurt because he's been having a good season. It's like it has to be a curse that Michael Jordan left on this organization. We need to like get some voodoo going or something to just clear out the curse, or maybe we have to clear out the talent. I don't know. I don't know what to do. But let's move on. So we'll start to warm up a little bit. We'll start to get a little bit more positive. With the guards being injured, we did make a signing for Isaiah Wong from the G League, a point guard who's been a bucket in the G League, averaging about 24 points. He is a scorer with the basketball, so some much needed help there. But will it be maybe not needed? And we'll talk about that more. That's a little teaser for you to continue to watch. All right. Let's talk about the big topic of the day, something that we've been talking about. Like we started off this series, about does the Charlotte Hornets have a big problem? But I think over the course of time, we're realizing we don't have a big problem anymore. We kind of starting to have a big surplus of big guys. We got our 7-footers back. Return of the bigs, return of the Mark. Mark Williams is back in the lineup, and he played against the 76ers last night. How do you feel about our bigs returning? And Nick Richards returned the night before, or the game before, as well, back to the lineup as well, playing. With Diabate getting minutes, it's not significant minutes, but he is getting minutes nonetheless. But we have 3 bigs. I mean, you can obviously, Tijon, you can count him as a big, I mean, 6'10", so I mean, he is a big guy. But our 7-footers are back, and that's what's most important, and I'm excited for.
Yeah. Obviously, we said Mark Williams just came back last game, so he's been back for 1 game. Nick Richards has been back for 2. Nick Richards has played more and looked better so far. I think they're still easing Mark Williams back. He only played 9 minutes.
Yeah, especially coming from a year off. Officially, it was literally a year back, which is insane. Which
makes sense. It does make sense. And with him only playing 9 minutes, and as we said, the extended time off, almost a year, if not a full year. I know it's like right around that mark.
Right. It's right at a year. It's right at a year.
Yeah. So with him being gone for so long, they obviously tried to ease him back, and he's a little bit rusty. 1 for 4 from the field. 3 rebounds, 4 points. I think he had a block as well. Yes, 1 block, 1 turnover, 1 foul. So just getting his feet wet. Nothing crazy. But Nick Richards came back from a month off.
Just about.
I think he went out like right around Halloween, and he came back like. Let me see the date. Yes, he went out October 30th was his last game. No,
a little bit over a month.
November 1st. So the day after Halloween.
So just about a month.
Yeah. He went last game before he got hurt was November 1st, and then he came back November 30th. So basically a full month. But his first game back, he played 25 minutes, so not really on a minutes restriction. And if that sounds low to you, it's not because it's because he fouled out. He had 12.6 boards, 3 blocks, and an assist, so he's playing well. And then last game against the 76ers, 22 points, 14 boards, 2 assists, 1 block, 1 steal, only 2 fouls. So much better in his second game back. As we said with Mark Williams, he was a bit rusty for being out for a year. Nick Richards showed a little bit of rust his first game back, but he looked back in like he was playing to start the season. This last game, which, as we said, when we first did the show last week or 2 weeks ago now, he was killing it.
He has been. He's been upping his value as a player, and it's been good to see because we just know pairing LaMelo or Trey Mann with the big and the pick and roll game is going to unlock this offense even more. And like what we're seeing with the offense, obviously, it's a very three-centric team. Brandon Miller and LaMelo Ball lead the league in threes attempted with, I want to say, 13 and 10 per game, which is an insane number. And it's good and all because obviously, Brandon Miller's hitting 6 to 7 threes the last couple games, and LaMelo hit he will average 4 to 5 threes made, but obviously a lot of attempts. We would like to see the efficiency get a little bit better, but it is the similar system to what the Celtics are running to where they want to unlock the 3-point game. And obviously, if you're hot and you have enough 3-point shooters, it will work, and you'll jump out to big leads, and you can cut deficits down pretty efficiently. But that's obviously depending on if it's a hot or cold game, which then you can see, you can trail big, but then you can also come back big, which we kind of see that consistently with the Hornets this season as it is. But yeah, I'm excited because we want to see everyone get the rust off with the bigs. I mean, Nick Richards is looking good, a double-double. He's been a double-double machine. He's averaging a double-double this season, which is big time. And I mean, I'm not mad at it, because we wanted to see good big play. I did think Nick Richards was good last year. Like, he always had good performances, but it's a lot of times it's garbage time points. So then it's it's how much is this really empty calories? Are these potato chip stats, or is this real hearty meals? You know what I'm saying? And so that's where you can be a little, condescending, maybe a little distrustworthy about it. But I mean, he's been playing good with his new coaching staff, and I think I don't know if it's necessarily him or it's the role. And he's protecting the rim pretty decently. So now I'm excited to see, and also curious to see, which brings us to the next topic, is the rotation. Do you stay with the hot hand with Nick Richards, or do you? I think they see Mark Williams as a pillar, a corner piece of what they're trying to build. How do you work Mark Williams into the starting lineup?
I think they definitely want Mark Williams to be a franchise cornerstone and a pillar that they build the future of this team upon. But it depends on his health. So as you said, Nick Richards could be a very appealing trade target for other teams. But if I were the Hornets, I wouldn't be in a rush to give him away just yet. You have something in Diabate. That's good.
Great.
But it is great. But if Mark Williams goes down again, and you trade away Nick Richards, now you're just back to Diabate.
Yeah.
Which is the same place we were in the beginning of the season, and we were saying it sucked. So why would you want to potentially put yourself back in that position?
Unless it depends on the return that we're going to get. And we'll talk more about that towards the end of the show. We'll talk about the return. We're talking about the return of the bigs and the rotation. And I do agree, it is one of those things that you want to put that trust in Mark Williams to be that guy. And then he talked about this week about how people are labeling him being injury prone, right? I'm going to read the direct quote here. Mark Williams, I'm feeling good. I'm getting closer every day. This is before he actually played. So I went to Duke, being labeled injury prone. So I went to Duke. It's been a thing for me for a while. Hearing people say whatever they think about me, everyone's entitled to their own opinion. The people around here within the organization know how badly I want to play, and that's really all that matters. I couldn't care less about what the average Joe has to say. Coming up a 1-year anniversary since his last NBA game, it's crazy. It's not like I was playing on that in any way. It definitely sucks, but sooner or later I'll be back out there, and I can't wait to be out there whenever it is, which that happened to be the day before he actually returned. So for the 76ers game. And yeah, again, injury prone. It's something I have to fix my mouth to say consistently with a lot of players in the Hornets organization. With LaMelo, it starts with the LaMelo. It's Mark Williams. It's Miles Bridges. I mean, he got a lot of other things he's prone to doing, unfortunately. And it's just like, it's, again, we kind of talked about this last show. And if you didn't watch it, you can check it on our Hate to Pile On YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe while you're there. Put the post bell notifications as well. We talked about it. Will they have to make blow up something here to possibly, you might have to take a step back? It's going to suck, because obviously we talked about whether between the three, Trey Mann, LaMelo, and Brandon Miller, who do you get rid of? Who do you trade to try to get the most value out of? And early on, obviously, Trey Mann was making a case okay, he could be great shape. But then, everybody and their mom is we gotta, LaMelo to the Magic, LaMelo to the Clippers, LaMelo to the Lakers, all these teams. Obviously, it makes sense him being for a Cali kid, whatever. And there's obviously some other trade talks we can talk about. Once we get to that we're going to wrap up the show with some trade talks as well. It's just how long can you keep waiting to find out our rotation? And who's been consistent? Brandon Miller. Who's been consistent and busting his ass? Diabate, right? And so those two guys, obviously Diabate's still a work in progress. So then it's can you trust him? I don't know. But guys who have stepped up in the wake of the three of our guards not playing well, and kind of surprisingly, which has been this thing of guys we didn't expect to step up in the wake of injuries. How about, after we did made a sign for Isaiah Wong, how about KJ Simpson? KJ Simpson has been playing really good, who is our second round draft pick, mind you, which is showing that maybe our front office has really kind of got this thing on lock of these draft picks, and maybe got a really good talent who they are surrounding themselves, or we're surrounding ourselves with. And, we have the developmental plan in place to be able to, maybe to make KJ a guy. I kind of like KJ. I like his tape. I mean, obviously he signed a 2-way deal, so you never exactly know how much they're going to stick around. But the last 3 games for KJ, against the Knicks, he played a little bit more. I mean, he played 16 minutes, 11 points, 2 assists, 2 steals, a block, and a rebound. 1 for 5 from 3, not the greatest, but 11 points, putting in some production there. He played a little bit less against the Atlanta Hawks, but 8 points, 2 rebounds, assists, steal. So he's definitely there on the defensive side of the ball there. He shot a little bit better the next game from 3, 2 for 6, so about 33%. 3-point shot is definitely not going to be his game, but he's an all-around guy, I think, who can control the game, because in his last game against the 76ers, he scored 8 points, 6 rebounds, 9 assists, 1 steal, shot 2 for 8, I got his points from the free throw line, got to free throw line twice, made 4, it was 4 for 4, which is good to see, but 9 assists, 6 rebounds, 8 points, flirting with the double-double, and played 28 minutes last game, so doubled the production, doubled the minutes that he did last game against the Hawks, and with this minutes, and played really well.
Yeah. I think he showed you a little bit of everything. Like you said, the first game, he got really heavy minutes against the Knicks. 11 points in 16 minutes. So he showed a little bit of scoring capability. He showed some playmaking ability. The most recent game against the Sixers with 9 assists. If he can put it all together consistently, or together, I should say, at one time, where he's got the scoring going and he's got the playmaking going, we might have something on our hands. He's been promising, but if he can put it together and do everything at the same time,
yeah,
might have us a potential stud.
And it's
gem,
which would be a big log jam at guard. Then it's okay. Then it's when you have that question about Trey Mann, it's I love Trey Mann as a playmaker, but if you got a younger, I mean, he's not even much younger. I don't even think. I think KJ might be 21 versus Trey Man's 23.
KJ's 22.
There's not really much of age difference, though, really. So it's just kind of really like, obviously, you have more control over the contract of KJ, and if you feel like he has a bigger, maybe a higher floor, because I think Trey Man has a higher ceiling. I just think Trey Man has a higher ceiling. But like, if you can like one be cheaper, but still get like similar production and have more control of his contract, it makes a lot of sense. And plus, I think you can still get some pretty good value from Trey Man, especially if he comes back healthy and play. But then obviously it depends on his back issue and how much people are concerned about that. But really exciting for KJ Simpson. Nick Smith Jr., man. I've been waiting to see Nick Smith Jr. because I love his shooting ability and what he can do. He's been playing pretty well as well. I'm going to go ahead and not pull up his stats. Last game, though, he had 7 points, 2 rebounds, and 3 assists. Pretty solid. Obviously,
and only 11 minutes. Only 11 minutes,
which is actually, that's really good. That's putting in a really good shift. So they're definitely like, we're trying a lot out to figure out who's going to be that guard. And I think with the way he's been playing, this person has been playing, a lot of people were like, oh my God, no. It's been Micic. He was not looking good whatsoever. And like because he was like a backup. He would be like the backup to third guard role. So he wasn't getting a lot of run, a lot of burn. But since the last 3 games, since he's actually been put in some decent shifts, 31 minutes against the Knicks, 34 minutes against the Hawks, a little bit less production minutes against the 76ers, but I think that's due to the fact of KJ emergence. But in the 2 games he did play 30-plus minutes, 9 points, 2 rebounds, 8 assists, and shot 1 for 5 from 3, not great. But against the Hawks, 34 minutes, 15 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals, and shot 50% from 3, which is like, I would expect that from him. Like anywhere from 5 to 7 assists, just facilitate, pass it to Brandon Miller on the 3-point line, and just get the heck out the way, and then catch catch and shoot 3 every once in a while. And he's been playing pretty solid, but I think he's going to wind up being trade bait as we keep talking about trade. A good teaser for the end of the show. Make sure you stick around with us to the end. I mean, he's older. I want to say Micic is around probably like 30. He like 33 maybe, or he might just look 33. I might be bullshitting on him.
He'll be 31 in January.
Yeah. So definitely older, definitely not exactly a viable backup guard. So like if KJ does emerge, or I'm really excited to see Isaiah Wong get some minutes. Obviously he just joined the team, but I know he's a bucket and he can score. So I just want to see that. So, which, if he does show out in practice and, Charles Lee is willing to give him minutes, then it's like Micic might find himself the 4th, 5th string guy with LaMelo and Trey Man, out. Or not 4th, but like at least probably 3rd. Especially if you want to give KJ some more run, Nick Smith some more run. So we'll see. But obviously you want to go with the veteran experience as well. So, that is really interesting. And also who's been really stepping up, who I think is like, LaMelo has had a great run to start the year. He's averaged 2nd in the league in points, 1st in the league in threes made. But Brandon Miller, man. Brandon Miller is a dog. And
The franchise.
Let's coin it here officially right now. The franchise has arrived because once he has stepped out to be the number 1 option, the last 3 games, he's averaging 28.7 points, 7 rebounds, just about 6 rebounds, about 3 assists in the last 3 games. I mean, like, that sounds like a franchise player. The franchise indeed. And it's like he's playing second fiddle to LaMelo. That's a dynamic 1-2 punch, if I say so myself.
Yeah. And that's, like you said, the last 3 games, And that was with that game against the Knicks not being very pretty for him, which makes sense. The Knicks have some really good perimeter defenders. That was by far his worst game of the stretch. 7 of 25, 2 for 11 from 3, only 18%. But he still had 6 points, 3 assists, 3 blocks, and still put up 20 points. And that was his worst game of the 3-game stretch, like I said. The next game against the Hawks, 32 points, 8 boards, 4 assists, 2 blocks, a steal, 7 of 19 from 3, so just under 37%. And then the most recent game against the Sixers, 34 points, only 3 rebounds, 1 assist, no blocks, but much better efficiency, 7 of 16 from 3, 43.8%, and 12 of 25 from the field, just under 50% from the field. So his efficiency got better. So that's what I really want to see with him. If he can be more efficient while he is the focal point of the offense right now, when LaMelo comes back, it's only going to make him that much better. If he can improve his efficiency while he's being keyed on, when he does go back to being the second option, it's going to make him way better than he is now.
And I just want to see him have that same aggressiveness too when he is not the number one guy. And it's like, I think once you kind of have, because like I think they like LaMelo, obviously LaMelo and Brandon are still figuring out how to play with each other. They've been, definitely hitting on the alley-oops a lot, and which has been good to see. But I want to definitely keep seeing them both be aggressive. And they're both been eating. They have both been eating when they've been playing, which is good to see. But again, like I dig it. Like I dig this, 3-forward offense. But man, if we could just be a little bit more efficient with these threes, like I'll get it. Like you're gonna make 7 a game, which is fucking awesome. 5 to 7 a game, that's incredible. But brother, you're shooting 17. Like, you know what I mean? Like you're shooting 25. It's insane.
But
if they're going down, it's great.
Do you think maybe the amount of threes they're taking was due to the lack of bigs? And if there are more bigs, you can get the pick and roll going. You can get a little more post action, which might cut down on the 3-point attempts? Or do you think now that Mark and Nick Richards are healthy and once LaMelo comes back, you still think they're going to be jacking up threes at the same rate, or do you think that might come down a bit?
Great question. I think it is because of the system and because of the bigs not around. I love Diabate. I love what he's been doing on the offensive side of the board, on offensive rebound side. But he is really he has to work on his pick and roll game and just be a little bit more graceful. His footwork definitely can need some work as well, and his finish around the rim. Which Derek Queen of Charlotte, I'm putting that down. Derek Queen of Charlotte. Oh my God, that pick and roll game would be insane. So yes, once Nick Richards and Mark Williams is back healthy, the pick and roll game will go crazy. And so I think there will still be a natural decrease in some of the attempts of threes, but I still think it's a 3-forward offense. So like I don't like it. It's like I think it'd be like from 22 attempting to maybe like 17, But that's if like we see Nick Richards, get these pick and roll opportunities, or whether or not he'll be eating on the offensive rebounding side where he has to get his own bucket. And that's because of obviously, if I'm going to shoot, 14 threes and I make 5, I mean, you got, 8 opportunities to, or whatever the math is,
9
opportunities to get, the offensive rebound to get you a quick put back bucket. So I think it'll be like, it'll go down, but I don't think it won't be significant.
The other thing is they've been jacking up shots. They've been jacking up threes. If the amount of threes they take goes down, could the efficiency go up? And could they be more efficient then?
I hope so. I really hope so.
I hope so too. So that's something we need to see once everybody's healthy at the same time.
I agree. All right. Let's go ahead and watch a little bit of the highlights from this past game against the 76ers. This Sherry.
No, I don't see it.
I got you.
There it is. Can we talk about this court? Ooh,
It is a great court, and I love the mint city edition jerseys.
Gorgeous.
Can you hear the audio? I just muted it.
No.
Can you hear the audio?
No.
No. Okay. Cool. Honestly, seeing Paul George and Brandon Miller on the same court at the same time is kind of crazy. It's like Spider-Man looking at each other.
The bucket there.
Is it smooth or is it choppy?
It's a bit choppy.
Look at
Like,
that.
it's smooth.
Offensive rebound, Nick Richards. Bucket.
It's smooth for like 3 seconds and then it goes choppy for like 3. Like it's smooth right now. Now it's choppy.
Also, note about this game is Joel did not play, and Andre Drummond didn't get a lot of minutes for the 76ers.
I mean, Embiid is a good case study to look at for a 7-footer who got the injury label early on.
Yeah.
4-3.
T-John has been shooting the hell out the three. To much of my chagrin, I don't love it. But he is he is making it a priority. And he has a better than I expected or anybody really expected. And he's hitting like 2 or 3 a game now that he's starting and getting starting minutes. So, oh my gosh.
Of course, the commercial's not. Oh, nope, commercial's choppy too. But I say that would be the one part that's not choppy.
All right. I probably got just too much going on my computer. Oh my God, the double commercial is crazy.
They don't want to see us win.
They sure don't. But yeah, like I just really love T-John. Like I think he's gonna be really freaking good. Like I think people were like, at first there was a lot of talk on Twitter and social media, Hornets Twitter. I'll be on there about how, man, he's not looking like the 6th overall pick. This is looking like a bust, but he has been with playing time, experience development of him. I'm really excited. And he's shooting the 3, but now it's like, okay, now I want to start to see him once he's, I really want to see him just kind of start to work on his, his mid game as well. So,
yeah. I mean, hand up. I was a questioner of the T-John selection. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't know much about him. I wasn't familiar with his game.
I don't think anybody really did. Like he was like, obviously he had the Greek freak comparisons because he's 18, so super young. But there was other guys that we were like, okay, for sure, this is probably the route they were going to go to. Connect was one, obviously. Reece Shepard was another who I thought would have been really good.
I think he went right before, right? He went 5.
Yeah, he went right before to the Rockets. So it was other guys that he thought we couldn't go, but looking at the behind the scenes, he was their guy from the jump. He was one of those guys who embodied what they were looking for to rebuild the Hornets culture, just a hunger to learn, a hunger to play, and similar to Giannis, and just have that hunger to get better. And we're seeing that as he's getting more opportunities. Unfortunately, with I'm tripping. Grant Williams getting hurt, so he's getting starter minutes right now. Mm-hmm. Great, alley-oop right there from him. So it's like the alley-oop game, maybe get a little Michael Porter Jr. action with him, be able to be the dunker role, but then he's showing that he can shoot the 3 as well. and now he competes on the defensive side of the ball. So like I'm really excited to see him. Like he's good back door right there. But like I'm excited to see his development. I think, and the one thing is too is like we are seeing development happen so far in Charlotte,
which is nice. Because the Hornets have had a lot of picks for a lot of years now and haven't come away with very many core pieces.
Beautiful floater in the lane right there. Exactly, and we see the talent. Like we appreciate the talent. Like we know these guys will ball at any court. Obviously, we see a lot of them come up and down from Greensboro and ball, but we just haven't seen the continued step that we would love to see from all of these guys.
Yeah.
And I love Brandon Miller running the show here, man. Because it's going to open. You know what? I take back what I said about the threes. I think it's just going to open up even better opportunities to where it's just like they're going to have to obviously take, Nick Richards and Mark Williams seriously. But then it's like, obviously, you see the pick and pop. So you see them just going with the big, and it's just leaving open threes. Like, it's going to be hard for them not to take that. All right, and I'm not taking any more commercials. But we'll move on to our last segment of the day, which we've been teasing. We've been teasing it all night. Trades that could have been. And one of the articles that I read on Sports Illustrated was that Cody Martin was trade bait. Possible trade bait this offseason. He was going to be involved in a sign and trade for Cavs player Isaac Okoro. So, Jonathan, what do you think about that possibility of having Isaac Okoro on this basketball team?
I mean, I don't know who that helps. Like, I think they're similar players.
Yeah.
And so I don't know what the point of that trade would have been, to be honest. Like, I don't see the value for either team. Okoro's on was on an expiring deal. He got the extension, which is what nixed the trade, I believe. But for the Cavs, if you were to make that trade, you just get an older, more expensive version of Okoro. And if you're the Hornets, you just save a little bit of money by getting off Martin's deal. And Okoro would expire at the end of the year. But they're both like defensive-minded wing defenders. They're both a little bit undersized to be wing defenders, but they don't really have the shooting chops or the passing ability to be like a true guard either. So they're kind of like hybrid. But that's primarily what they are, is wing defenders. So I don't know if I like that trade for either team, really. Like I don't understand it for either side. Yeah, well, maybe for the Hornets, because if you get younger with the Hornets, but then it's like I think it kind of makes sense into the fact of yes, it is the same player. Obviously, you can swap. Like obviously, a fresh start for Okoro. You sign him to an extension. He gets paid, right? The Hornets are trying to go younger, so it kind of helps the average median age. With the Cavs in more of a spot of they're ready to compete now. I don't know if Cody Martin is like drastically better, but he's been flashing enough. He's not getting starter minutes, which could be upsetting to him. So he could still be on that trade block later down the road. So in theory, it makes sense in terms of where both teams are. They both wanted Kenny Atkinson. Only one got Kenny Atkinson. Okay, whatever. But the Cavs have a better nucleus that are older and that's ready to compete now. So it kind of makes sense in that theory of Cody Martin is probably a better player, in terms of I think Cody Martin would probably thrive on that team. Obviously, right now his roadblock is Josh Green, who again they're both similar players. Josh Green is 23, so he's younger.
So then and Josh Green is getting the nod over I'm gonna say Caleb, geez, over Cody. So then it's like, well, I'm stuck on the bench role, which I think he does deserve more starter minutes. So that could be an opportunity for him to seek a trade, which I do see us making a move by the deadline, before the deadline. I think trades can start happening December 15th, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's the date where trades start happening with certain talent, bigs particularly. Yeah, I mean, it's nothing. It's nothing that's like, oh, So, yeah. But it would have just been like, hey, older for younger, we'll pay him. You don't got to really pay him too much, and it would have kind of just been, a salary cap move.
Yeah, I mean, he's not getting. It's not like he's getting no minutes. He's playing over 25 minutes a game.
Yeah, he's playing minutes, but I think getting that starting nod consistently, I think might help his boost, and I think he deserves.
He wouldn't start for the Cavs.
Fair, but it's also on a winning team, so it's like winning cures not playing as much. So you're not playing much, and we're losing.
This is fair. This is fair.
But again, the Hornets is a team that plays hard, and it's close. It's like victories are by like one single possessions that are like not by a lot. This team play like, yes, there'll be like leads and they'll shrink down, but like they play tough and they play hard against everybody, and that's what you love to see. But then it's like, again, it's like I hate the fact that we have to be like, what if, or I can't wait till we get everybody healthy, because I think this team can compete and can be a play-in team. The way what they're doing with the mismatched pieces currently, I definitely see us making a move for a wing or a 4. Just because I don't know how much you want to rely on Tijon going down the stretch, depending if this team continues to get better. Like, I love his development. I don't want to stunt his development when or if he hits that rookie wall. And having, Grant there was a good. Obviously, once you do get Bridges back, you do have that flexibility with him playing the 3 or the 4, which helps. But then it's like, how much can we really rely on Miles Bridges too? So
this is fair.
More trade bait. Obviously, the Hornets GM stated in an interview that which I'm pulling up currently. He said Jeff Peterson on if he could make a deal with the draft picks and asset pool the team has acquired. At this point, we're looking at everything. We have to, right? We got to be as creative as possible. Charles and I are wired the same. Maybe a little crazy. We're never satisfied. We want to continue to push and get better. We've put ourselves in a really good position. We're always trying to find ways to get better. That's no secret. The more assets you have, the more cracks at it. If you want to draft or if you want to package those and try to get something, another player that we deem as a great fit here in Charlotte, we have that option as well. What do you make of those comments?
I feel like he's keeping all options open. You don't want to say we're definitely not making a trade. You don't want to say, oh, we definitely are making a trade. We're open to make a trade, because that could potentially lower the return for somebody. So you say we're open to making a trade, but you also talk up the guys you have. That way you can play both sides. You never want to lose in the press.
That's fact.
I feel like he said what he needed to say.
I agree, which is refreshing for Charlotte and the front office. Yeah, and then like being so aggressive in these trades and just adding to be that third team, especially for that Nets trade, just to get players. Hey, we're just gonna buy you out, get out of here, but we're gonna take these extra second round picks. I mean, it's that Thunder mentality, like acquiring picks, making a big move, making something splash. Which I think that's kind of going to be the second step, and then like being a development guy, and then maybe selling off a guy who's maybe backed up again, Trey Mann, but then to push him to be able to get that opportunity to be that star point guard. Because, I mean, Trey Mann to the Magic would be kind of crazy if he starts get going, but then like maybe to the Nets, back to where Peterson was at, would be a fun opportunity for him. Like another team that he could possibly get some run. Maybe the Bulls, because the Bulls are trying to repackage what they're doing right now. He'll be fun with that young nucleus. Because again, you're talking about the Bulls possibly making a deal. There is a lot of smoke. You know, sometimes it's fire when there's a lot of smoke. Because obviously LeVar Ball talking. Well, LeVar Ball talking, he kind of has a way of initiating stuff. Lonzo Ball to the Hornets? Are you down with that?
Listen, I like Lonzo as a player, and I would be excited to have him in Charlotte. However, we just talked about the injury bug on this team. And now we talk about bringing in Lonzo Ball, who has not played basketball in 2 years.
Yeah.
So we
just got back a guy who hasn't played in a year.
Yeah, extended absence, out for a year. Now we want to bring in a guy who's been out for 2. But if the price is right, for sure. I think Lonzo's exactly what this team needs. Like he could fit alongside LaMelo, or if Trey Mann is gone, he can run the second unit. He's not the scorer Trey Mann is, but he could be more of a facilitator. For sure.
And him with the second unit with B Mill too would be pretty fun to see. And like just seeing that rotation. Obviously, if he's back to the days of like he can have a steady stretch of playing at least 55 games a year, I would take that. Mixed him in with if KJ's developing, Nick Smith is developing, you know, I would love to see that for sure.
Yeah, because I would love to see them play alongside him. Like, what would their catch and shoot numbers look like with Lonzo running the second unit? If Brandon Miller goes to the 3 to accommodate one of them at the 2, you got T. John at the 4. You got Nick Richards or Diabate at the 5.
Ooh, or Mark. And there's Mark.
He'd be on the first unit.
For sure. But, I mean, having Diabate, he's a little bit more athletic. Nick is a little bit more athletic than Mark. So it kind of does, like, that'd be a really fun athletic. And you don't lose length really at all. Especially if you keep Nick in there. You don't lose length at all. I mean, you still got a 7-footer, 6'10", 6'10", 6'8", 6'6". Like, you don't lose no size.
Yeah. So I'd be excited to see that. Because we talked about how some of the young guys are developing and how we want to see some guys develop. So like KJ Simpson, Nick Smith Jr., could they develop more with a Lonzo than they are with a Nicic running next to him while he's running the show? I think so.
Good point. That's a good point. Also, another trade candidate, we kind of teased about it, but Nick Richards, a guy who's averaging a double-double this year I think there's a lot of really good trade bait on this team. But then it's like really finding the guys. Because like, if you really think about it, there's still I hate to say it like this, but there's a lot of stink still from the previous ownership and manager. But like these players are solid players, but you still have to get your guys that has your identity, that has your scent on you, that has your mentality instilled that you want. Like, yeah, you can try to instill it in these guys, but they've been around Cliff. They've been around the big red Clifford dog. Okay, like you might have to make that sacrifice in order to have the greater returns. And the rumor is that teams think they can get Nick Richards off of Charlotte for 2 second-round picks.
I wouldn't do it.
What would you do it for? What would move you?
I feel like it would have to be a package deal because the Hornets already have 5 second-round picks. It's a lot. Let me look it up. Give me a minute.
Yeah. I mean, we talked about this on previously, some teams that we really like that have a surplus of bigs. Because, like, I think you have to get a big in return. You can't, like, you know, it's a guy who can play the 4 or the 5. Or maybe, if they get like a really solid wing with some length, I wouldn't be mad at that. We obviously mentioned guys from Portland, Robert Williams, but again, apparently our type, injury prone. But DeAndre Ayton possibly could be a fun pick. There's already been a ton of people mocking DeAndre Ayton to Charlotte. I don't know if you guys would think about that. Let us know down in the comment section below. But like, I mean, this interesting. Like, obviously, you could try to poach again from the Thunder, the Nets, like young guys that you might be able to corral away that maybe are just kind of buried under some depth charts as well.
Which is kind of what they did with Trey Mann.
Exactly what they did with Trey Mann.
You could do it again. They do have. I thought they had more second rounders than they do. They only have 3 right now
for 2025.
Yeah,
I think they also had a couple last year, so I think it was like including last year's draft that we had a couple.
Makes sense. And they might have a couple extra for 2026 as well. So, I mean, right now they're projected to have the 32nd overall pick, the 35th pick, and the 49th pick, in addition to the 5th overall pick.
Ooh, if we just stay what we've been doing and keep that 5th overall pick in the NBA lottery, brother, maybe even go up to 3rd. Maybe go up to 3rd to get us a chance to get Ace Bailey or possibly Dylan Harper.
Right now, the mock draft I'm looking at has Cooper Flag going 1st overall to the Washington Wizards.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
Ace Bailey going 2nd to the New Orleans Pelicans. Dylan Harper going 3rd to the Utah Jazz.
I think Harper fits better in Pelicans, to be honest, but if you're just looking for pure talent, because they're probably getting rid of BI anyway.
Yeah, I mean, BI is probably out of there, so he kind of just swaps in for BI.
Yeah.
And they got
CJ McCollum at guard. And then they got Alvarado. So it's like I kind of like Harper a little bit more, but I mean
they got some young guys too. They got Herb Jones. He's kind of like a hybrid guard.
He ain't scoring. I mean, he's a solid defender. He's a do-it-all kind of guy.
Yeah. But they got the Hornets at 5 getting VJ Edgecombe from Baylor.
I'm not familiar with him.
Freshman shooting guard, 6'5". From the Bahamas.
Hey, we got a good history from the Bahamas.
Hornets might have Bahama flashbacks from Kai Jones.
But Kai Jones, man, he's starting to break out.
He is, but they got your boy Derek Queen going 10th to the Pacers.
Nah, brother, he coming home to Charlotte.
So,
but okay.
In my opinion, I would prefer for the Hornets to package a player and some of those seconds to get back up into the back half of the first round rather than just getting more second-round picks. So I would do like trade for Nick Richards. If they were going to give us 2 seconds, I would rather be like, hey, here's 2 of our seconds and Nick Richards. You have a pick in that's 21st. Can we just get that? I would rather do that.
That's possible.
Or if it's going to be a second-round pick or multiple second-round picks, can we get a player back? I wouldn't want to give them away for just 2 second-round picks. that's not worth it to me.
Fair. No, that's fair. I mean, because I don't want to give up those 2 early seconds because you're gonna that's like Miami Heat territory of stealing first-round talent that somehow made it to the second round. And I think that's where I think we can see a big improvement with our depth and our development as an organization. But if there's a way we could possibly trade up, get more seconds, then use those seconds that we just got to then get a mid-round first, then if a Derek Queen happened to fall, I don't think so because Derek Queen's stock is only going up. I'll be excited for it. I'm trying to think any other trades. We talked about Martin. We talked about Richards. We talked about Ball. And then Trey Mann. I think that's about everything. We covered. We're going to end it with our thoughts of the Hornets currently with the injuries and with guys stepping up. Give us your parting words, your motivational speech to Hornets Nation, and buzz them up a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Turn them up. What are you going to say to Hornets family right now?
I'm going to say this. Injuries suck. They do. And the Hornets have a lot of injuries at the moment. But you know, the good thing about injuries is the more injuries you have, the less wins you have. And the less wins you have, the better chance you have of getting Cooper Flag. So, while nobody likes losing during the season, come whenever the draft lottery is, you're going to be a lot more excited for those losses than you are the wins if the Hornets continue to suffer from injuries anyway. So I'm going to tell the Hornets what I have been telling the Panthers for the last couple of years, and the Panthers finally started listening to me about. Enjoy the tank. It's here. It's not going anywhere. Enjoy the ride. It's bumpy while you're on it, but when you cross that finish line, you're going to feel real good. Real
good. Great words right there. Great words from Mr. Jonathan. We will heed those words and take note. All right, guys. That has been our Hornets talk, buzzing around the pylon. This past week, 76ers versus the Hornets. Great. I mean, we're on a 5-game losing streak, not the best, but I think there's potential. We see the potential. We're trying to bounce back from these injuries, from the bad stuff, and we will move forward one way or another, so we can plant our flag with Cooper. All right, guys, have a great rest of your night. We'll be back next Wednesday talking more Hornets basketball. Wednesday at 8:30, and we'll kick it, watch some highlights, talk some Hornets ball. Let us know what you guys think of this episode. Comment down below, like, share, comment, and share this with your friends so we can all buzz around the pylon together and talk some Hornets basketball. Okay, let's talk some Hornets basketball. I appreciate you guys for hanging out with us tonight, and have a great rest of your week